Biden administration once again weaponizes the ATF to push their agenda. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms for NRA certification and multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And if you like my channel and want to support my channel, please use the links below. Everything is appreciated. Let's talk about this. This, once again, got to give credit to Gun Owners of America for breaking this, because they had came across a FOIA request for a document. And what has happened is they now found out that the Biden administration using the ATF for a zero tolerance policy on FFLs. What it pretty much leads to is usually where you have a violation, it becomes a warning. They're starting to take on the attitude of one violation or no violations can lead to revocation of your license. Let me jump in here. This is Fox News. Internal ATF document shows zero tolerance guidelines for shutting down gun stores. Subtitle: the guidance says the ATF can use inspection reports to establish willfulness even if the inspection found no violations. Internal documents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives shows the zero tolerance guidelines the agency is using to shut down gun stores. Fox News Digital exclusively obtained the ATF's federal firearms license inspection guidance from January 2022 that makes it easier to revoke gun stores' federal licenses. The guidance says the agency has zero tolerance for willful violations that greatly affect public safety and ATF's ability to trace firearms recovered in violent crimes. And that revocation of the FFL's license is the assumed action with violations. Wow. Whoa. Quote, therefore, revocation is the assumed action unless extraordinary circumstances exist when violations are cited that include transferring a firearm to a prohibited person, knowing or having reasonable cause to believe the transferee is a prohibited person, failing to perform a background check, and making a false or fictitious written statement in the FFL's required records, or in applying for a firearms license, the guidance reads. The guidance defines administrative action as a warning letter, warning conference, revocation, imposition of civil fine, and or suspension of a federal firearms license, including a recommendation of denial of an original or renewal application and alternate action to revocation. Wow. So when you go to renew your FFL, they can look at your past inspections and go, oh, you had a couple of hiccups here and there. We're not renewing it. Yeah. According to the documents, the ATF must establish willfulness to proceed with revocation under federal law, but the agency does not have established a history of prior violations to determine willfulness. Accordingly, ATF will revoke a firearm licensee, absent extraordinary circumstances on initial violation, if those violations inherently demonstrate willfulness, such as transferring a firearm to a prohibited person, failing to run a background check prior to transferring a firearm to a non-licensee, falsifying records or make false statements, failing to respond to an ATF tracing request, refusing to permit ATF to conduct any inspection, or allowing a straw sale purchase of a firearm to occur. Okay, I worked in a gun store for a long time. When the ATF calls for a tracing request, you do it. I don't know of anybody who doesn't. If there's gun stores out there that it gets an ATF tracing request and they don't fulfill it. But I'm going to say this too. For all the ATF tracing requests that I filled personally on a firearm, the ATF is not very efficient because sometimes they lose it. Yeah, straight up. I send them the information and they call 2 weeks later and say, oh, we never got it. When I know I sent it because I keep the fact sheet, transmission sheet with all the information. I learned that a long time ago. I send them all the information they want and I keep the fax transmission sheet. So when they call and say, oh, we didn't get it, I got proof that we sent it. So, and then allowing a straw sale of a firearm to occur, how do you know this? Now, you got to use common sense. If you know there's something going on in front of you as a straw purchase, yeah, you are legally bound to say something or to halt the sale. But if a person leaves the store with that gun That's out of your hands. I guarantee you how broad a language this is, because this is quoted from their document. I guarantee you, if somebody buys a gun, leaves the store, and that gun is then given to someone who shouldn't have it, they're going to blame the FFL for it, even though they had no control over it. But ATF may also revoke for any willful first-time violation as it deems appropriate, the guidance reads. The guidance says that the agency can establish the knowledge element of willfulness in several ways, including establish the FFL has a history of similar repeated violations and documentation that an industry operation investigation discussed them with the FFL. The FFL compliant history can include other efforts by ATF, including qualification inspections, to inform the FFL about its legal responsibility, the ATF guidance reads. Also saying the agency can use inspection reports to establish willfulness, even if the inspection found no violations. Wow. And this, I'm going to come down to this here, where this is usually what happens when an FFL loses its license. It will likely close shop and be required to send its gun purchase records, which are now required to be kept indefinitely. This was done under the Biden administration. Used to be 20 years. Now they're saying you got to keep them indefinitely, and when you close, you got to send us all your information. That's the dangerous part, because now the ATF now has a digital, they're saying it's like in the billions, digital records of firearm purchases by individuals. And they're keeping a record of that, which is a violation of the Constitution. You cannot keep that kind of a database, but they're doing it. Okay. So I'm going to come out of here. So this is once again the Biden administration circumventing the Bruin decision by weaponizing the ATF to close gun stores who may have a violation, who may not have a violation. You read it right there. They could have no violations, but they could find some way to shut them down with this zero tolerance policy ideal. And that is damn dangerous. Now, I don't know what the remedy is going to be for this, other than Joe Biden being removed from office, which he should never have been elected. I just obviously I'm getting political, but looking at what's happened over the last few years, he shouldn't have been elected. But this is creating an illegal gun registry. When the FFL closes, all the records go to the ATF. The ATF has told gun stores, you cannot destroy them. You must send them all to us. And they are digitizing everything. They now have a database of gun sales. That is a violation of federal law. And also the Constitution. But once again, it's getting information out there, and we should truly be worried about what they're up to as they go around just basically closing gun stores, because once again, they're trying to limit our access to firearms. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I will see you on the next one. Peace.